Welcome to Just Beachy with Deb
and Wendy.
Growing up in the 70s in our Toronto Beach neighborhood was a time unlike any other. Bell-bottom pants, high handlebars and banana seats, water buffalo sandals, crazy adventures, and home with the streetlights. We have lots of stories to share.
So sit back and join us as we reminisce about the people and the times that shaped our lives. Welcome back to Deb and Wendy, Just Beachy, episode 7.
We're getting good at that.
We try.
It's been a week. What can I say?
It has been a week. And it's only
Wednesday.
We can't say what day it is.
Well, it's Wednesday when we record.
That's true.
That's true.
It's Friday. Okay.
Unless we really mess up, then we might do it Thursday.
Re-record.
It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Now you take what you get.
Well, we do.
Is that right? We take what you get?
You take what you get.
Okay, there we go. Didn't sound right, but
I know.
Okay.
Get what you take. I don't know. It's either way. It makes sense either way. You get what you take what you get.
Lump it or leave it. I don't know.
Yes, we're back. We are back with yet another Just Beachy podcast. And we're really excited because people are listening. That's such a good thing.
It is. It's very exciting to see. And we're getting more interaction on our Facebook page.
Yes.
We're up to 48 followers. But we need...
Sorry.
But we need 100 so we can see who you are.
So you all have to go out and grab at least 2 people to subscribe so we can see everybody and you can see everybody.
Yeah, just go on Facebook, search Just Beachy with Deb and Wendy, and our Facebook page will come up. Like it, follow it, and Deb puts all our podcasts up there and on all the streaming, not devices, but streaming engines, I guess.
Platforms, yeah.
Platforms, thank you, that you can listen to us at, and we make it easy.
Yeah.
And we're posting pictures.
There's no excuse for you not to listen. That's
exactly. Yeah, basically, that's it. You're right.
That's right.
So
we gotcha.
If anything, we're listening to ourselves, and
you take what you get. Yeah.
No, but we are getting good feedback from
I love it.
Friends and relatives and people we don't even know. So,
and some folks are saying, "It sounds like you're living my life. I remember that all."
Exactly,
and that's nice. We have a lot in common. Growing up in the 70s.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention though, because I noticed in re-listening to myself in the last podcast, I refer to my mom and dad and my grandparents as my. But they're really ours. So my parents are Deb's parents too.
Well, they like you better anyway. So
although I was told I was found in a Salvation Army tuba as a baby,
and you believed it,
and I did. So I thought I was adopted for a while because that was always the party line that I was
in a tuba,
Salvation Army tuba of all things.
Yeah. She was little. She believed everything we said. We were really kind of cruel to you. My brother and me. This third person comes into our life and spoils the dynamic. And we lived over my grandmother's in my grandma's house. We were on the top floor. They were on the bottom, and we had the center room. The kids had the center room, and so. Wendy was in the crib, and for somehow you got out of the crib and you'd end up under the crib with the rail down to the floor.
I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It just happened. It was sort of one of those things. It was all our brother's fault. It's all his fault. I didn't have any. It wasn't anything to do with me.
Right.
Yeah, but I
can still see the twin beds. You and Arthur and me in the crib, and Dad would come in at night and tickle Arthur's feet and tickle my back to get us to go to sleep. And you were just left on your own.
Well, actually, he would sit on my bed for a bit, and I would sneak down under the covers and go down the end of the bed, which was near the door, and I would sneak out the door. So I would have some. I was the oldest, so I had a little bit of time with my mom and dad.
Oh, that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Distraction.
I would put
Distraction.
pillows. I would put pillows to look like my body. Well, Dad sat there. He was,
Distracting.
you guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah, yeah.
Secret's out. Now I don't feel special.
Oh, well. So that was my dad. Because he didn't.
Ours.
Our father.
Good old Joe Roach.
Yep, that was him. Oh, yeah. No, those. I don't know. I might have cooked up the story about you living, joining us, being adopted. That might have come from me. I'm not sure. Not just Salvation Army adoption, but in a tuba.
I did believe it for a while.
She did. I really. Let me apologize now for any trauma that might have caused when you were 2 years old.
That explains a lot about me right now.
Just don't give me the counseling bill. That's like, yeah, it builds character when you.
It does.
It does. But that's probably why you call them your parents.
But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that yeah, my parents are our parents, and my grandparents are Deb's too. So
that's true. We're family. We're family.
But one thing I wanted to mention, just because I know we've talked about going back to school, is one thing I didn't see at Shoppers Drug Mart this year was the teen packs.
Scandalous.
Remember those?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they even had them last year. They really changed over the years, but I remember going to Melbourne and buying them.
That would be the thing you did before school.
Yeah. It was.
You got your deodorant, you got your toothpaste.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And then, they changed over the years into, because I think they were like in a bag or something. And then they were put into boxes for men teens, girls, boys. And it was such a good deal. But yeah, I just realized a few days ago that I never saw them this year.
We'll have to look into that.
I'm going to have to write a letter to Shoppers.
We're going to have to absolutely investigate that, because that.
But it was something I really, you looked forward to.
That's like a decades-old thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're old.
Yeah, I mean, this was in the 70s, and even when my kids were going back to school, right? And they're all in their mid-30s, early 40s, and
it was like $4.99.
Yeah, and then it went up to $9.99 and $10.99, $11.99, but you still bought it because it was
a good value. Good value. Going to college. Deal. Oh yeah. Going traveling. It was all good. We'll have to investigate that. Well, I went to the X. I wanted a chicken. I got a chicken. We tried all the games.
It's not just a chicken.
It's a
sparkly gold chicken.
I'll have to put a picture of him up.
Yes. Yeah. It'll go on the Facebook page for sure.
It's definitely a he. I think it's a he. I'm calling him. What were I calling it? Mr. Honker? Mr. Honker. Yeah. If I did the full honk, it's deafening, so I won't do that. But I had put up a meme the morning I went to the X of these, the rubber chicken singing in harmony. I forget what it was. It was a Queen song or something. And I said, "Oh, I want one," and I won one. Law of attraction. And I had him sticking out of my backpack, just his head.
Oh, he's beautiful. Yeah, you have to post him.
He's shiny and gold with red feet and red beak and a comb. Yes.
You'd make a good dog toy, so you have to be careful that Oliver doesn't.
Well, the dog, every time I squeak it, he's over looking at me like, mine? He's tried to trade several toys for it, and I'm not having none of that. It's mine.
So did the X still have that feeling of old, or?
It was the last day, and there were a lot of people, and things had changed. I hadn't been there in several years. So the agriculture building was actually in the Better Living Center now, and they had a horse that was probably as tall as this room. He was huge. I don't know in the hands how big he would be, but a tall man came up to his shoulder. Wow. Just taking a picture. Yeah, it was kind of cool. And we saw llamas and we saw pigs and cows and stuff. And they had a lot of different places for kids to interact with animals, and that was good. Food building. In the olden days, there were lots of samples, none, but and no double bubble, no chocolate bars. It was all like little restaurants. So everything from Swiss Chalet to we got Licks Burgers, which you can't find in Toronto. No, they're only up in Parry Sound, but everybody was lining up for them. And, any kind of cuisine, any ethnicity, any country, he was there. And lots of tables for people to sit and eat, which was nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Double Bubble. That was, yeah.
Mm,
Well,
yep.
that's a shame. Now,
Yeah.
one thing, although I talked about my experience in Grampy playing the games and that for me and figuring them out, I, for myself, always felt awkward walking across or in front of these games because I guess the carnival barkers or whatever you want to call them always intimidated me or scared me. So
They
I
didn't
think,
entice you. They actually had the opposite effect.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
don't know. So are they still the same?
No, they were kind of quiet. They were kind of laid back, actually. Some of the games were like $2. I played the birthday game for $2, but then around the corner up the way, it was $5. And the prizes, there's nothing that I really wanted to drag home, so I didn't do that one. And I broke some balloons with darts, and I did the water pistol into the little hole to make the balloon. And Simon won that. He was the last minute entry. Otherwise, I would have won it. I played 5 games. I won 4, lost to Simon.
Oh, man.
Oh, I know. And what does he get? A fortune cat, which was what I wanted, but that's okay. He's my son. That's all right. But yeah, he wasn't going to play. And then finally he said, that was $10.
Wow.
Yeah. So for a family.
For how many turns? Just the one?
Just the one pop out the balloon, the water pistol. So you got to be in business. You got to get right on that thing, make that balloon pop.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. And the little horse goes up. As you fill it. Yeah. I was all the way up to the top, but Simon got there first.
Yeah, it has to be a family thing, right? That you're all playing, so at least one of you will walk away with a prize.
That's $30. $30. Yeah. I don't. So on the way home, long day, we had so much fun. We went through the International Building. I guess it's the Undercare Center, which was differently laid out, but lots to see. Really, really cheap shoes, that kind of thing. Everything 80% off. And I got a couple of things like bracelets, and every other booth was crystals. Oh no, I should have waited. There's another one that's cheaper.
Now, big question. Lavender.
No lavender.
No lavender.
No lavender. It was not to be found, that I found anyway.
Wow.
But,
well, you'd know because it would hit you as soon as you walk in, right?
No, there was lots of little cheap perfume booths and things like that, but no lavender.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
It was kind of sterile. It didn't have the rough around the edges of old. It was, but it was fun. We had a good time. We were there. I sat down for a while outside of the Queen Elizabeth building, and I was down the way is a little music hall, and then there was more midway for the young kids down that way. And I thought, I'm sitting. So the guys went with their cameras and taking their professional shots. And right across the way was a little beer garden, and live music. It was so much fun. I just sat there, and it was breezy, and it was cool, and enjoying that, playing with my phone. And then this fellow that came over, older fellow, with a duffel bag, and he says, "May I join you?" And I said, "Sure." So he sat down, and he pulls out this big honking camera. The lens was like a foot long, and I was quite, photographer here. I went, "Ooh, that's a pretty good lens." He was going to take candid shots from the corner kind of thing. Interesting fellow, professional, probably about as old as me. And just as we were getting into a conversation, here come the boys going, "Hey, Mom." They see the guy's camera. And they're like, oh, immediately attention diverts there. "Hey, what's that?" But it was fun. We had a good time. And cool. Mr. Honker.
Better than the sound effects we had for the quiz.
Well, I don't know. They were pretty good. It's just a sound effect.
It is. I thought it was fun.
It was fun.
It was short, right? To the point.
That's right. And we're keeping it. Although now we can replace it with.
Maybe that's, I'll just go to Pet Value or the dollar store and get a cheap dog toy. And there we go. I'll have my own.
You have your squeaker, and I'll have my Mr. Honker. Anyway,
we digress.
We do. We actually had an agenda today.
Well, we can get into it because I ended off the last podcast saying that we haven't even touched on our neighbors, Al and Frank, who were lovely gentlemen that lived next door to us. And we were trying to figure out if they were around before our dad passed. And I think they just moved into the neighborhood.
I think it feels like they always lived there.
Yeah. And they were definitely Mom's rock after Dad died. They were right next door. They were, over in a moment's notice. And back in those days, during the day, the front door was never locked. Screen door was always open, or if winter, obviously the inside door closed, but never locked. And people, just knock and say, Eileen, and come on in. And they were always over for coffee or tea and just, to keep my mom company.
They got her flowers, and they were so kind and generous.
And kind of entrepreneurs before that was even a thing. They were always dabbling into something. And I don't even know how it became to be, but they took over management of a restaurant at the top of Scarborough Road and Kingston Road. And we lived on Scarborough Road. And I can remember going up, must have been maybe I was 10 or 11, and going up and flipping burgers and probably serving myself more pop than the customers. But
I know. Come on up, let's get the kids to work. And they pay us, which is the whole point, I think, getting us into the workforce. But I had no idea what I was doing. They didn't train us. No. Somebody would order a burger and I would be manning the charcoal grill thing. And I had no idea how long to cook a burger. So the first couple, I had a couple of complaints, you slap them in the bun, you put the stuff on them that they want, you give them on a plate. And one fellow who was sitting watching me, he opened up his burger and he said, "Would you eat this?" And it was like black. I said, "Well, it's charcoal broiled." Sincerely, it's charcoal broiled. That's what it's supposed to be. And Al came over and he went, "Just hang on, I'll make you another one." He said, "You watch me. Watch what I do." Which he should have done at the beginning of the whole thing.
Well, exactly. But I remember most about them is their Christmas gift to Mom, I think for 5 years in a row, was wallpapering the downstairs.
That's right.
Not with the nicest looking wallpaper either.
Not at all. They had very exotic taste.
And it didn't match anything that our mother owned in the furniture department. We were the most mismatched house, I think, on that street.
It really was. And we didn't know it growing up. It was just, the orange chair and the green plaid couch and the orange shag rug. That was life.
And the brown paneled wall.
Yes.
I never did get wallpaper, thank goodness. But yeah. And I can remember when our older brother bought the house from our mom when she remarried in the 80s and moved out west. He and his wife took to taking off the wallpaper, and Ellen Frank never removed the previous layers. And I think it was 5 or 6 layers of wallpaper that they had to end up scraping off the downstairs.
I'm sure.
Luckily, it was mainly just in the hallway from the front door down to the kitchen, so it wasn't too crazy. Maybe it was also in the den on one wall, 1.5 walls.
I think
not
so.
Not the paneled wall.
No, and not the front room. This is a house so narrow, you could practically touch each side standing in the middle. It was, one part of a triplex or, 3 houses in a row. It was all one house divided.
Like row houses, right?
Yeah, but it was like they constructed the whole house and then divided it up.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a great place to grow up, though. Yeah. We didn't notice how small it was, but we've gone through that in earlier broadcasts with Wendy in the bathroom. One bathroom.
Yes.
They were so helpful. And, they got involved with us too. They, not just for Mom, like Al, I worked, he got me a little job one summer. I must have been 15, maybe 16, working at Link Belt in the cafeteria where he was manager. They were always doing different things. Mm-hmm. And I made like 200 sandwiches a day and, getting ready for the lunch crowd. And he would watch me like a hawk because I was very young and there were a lot of guys from the line coming through, winking and whistling and making noise. And he was like, "Now, don't you do that." He's being like big brother. He was so kind. And Frank was a guitarist. he was also a photographer, very creative guys. And he would take me. Did you go up for? There was a talent show back then.
It was. I'm pretty sure it was called Hilltop Stables at Warden and
St. Clair.
St. Clair.
Because we went horseback riding there. I don't remember it being at the same location, but
it was like there was hootenannies.
It was a hootenanny and a talent show.
Yeah,
and everybody would jam. Yeah,
and it seemed so far to go back then. And
yeah,
now you could probably walk there, like it would be nothing to go. But everything seemed so far away back then. But I'm pretty sure Grampy, and we probably went in a carload too with Al or Frank. And all went up and yeah, you and Frank would play guitar and you'd sing and I think it must have been before even Warden subway station was built.
Oh, there was no subway there.
Yeah, no.
I mean, even when we went on the horseback, we would all go down the hill and cross the lights at Warden and St. Clair and go down into the ravine.
That's true.
Warden Woods.
Yeah.
And there'd be a creek. We'd be gone for an hour or so. It was great.
Yeah. And, Frank would even come over just to the house and you guys would, play guitar and Mom loved that. Yeah. Do a little jam session.
Yeah. He played electric. Yeah.
They also had very interesting friends too. I can remember one of their friends worked at Mattel and I got some pretty good dolls at Christmas time because I can't think of her name. She was a ballerina doll and she had a little plastic crown. And if you pulled up the top, she would spin and do pirouettes and everything.
Maybe her name is Tina because it rhymes with ballerina.
Maybe. And then there was Tippy Toes.
Tippy Toes.
And she had a horse and she had a little bicycle that she could pedal. And I had some really cool stuff.
Wendy was into dolls. The closest I came to having a doll was the Johnny West, Jane, and Chief Thunderbolt. No, the horse was Thunderbolt. Chief Cherokee. That was my Barbie.
Otherwise, you pulled off their heads or cut their hair.
I did. I scribbled all over their face. I was not a doll person. In fact, I was quite aggressive.
I was obviously the opposite.
No, you were the Prince. You were the Prince Arena.
The Prince Arena.
That's right.
Who was born in a Salvation Army tuba.
That's right. No, Wendy was the special. She was the lipstick makeup totem when she was 5.
Well, and I know we're at 22 minutes and I don't want to go too far over, and it's also maybe something to talk about at Christmas time, but the one doll I always wanted, it wasn't Thumbelina. Oh my gosh. I can't think of her name, but she was a tiny little newborn Thumbelina. Yeah, that's it.
Oh God.
And apparently I found out from Mom years after that she had bought her for me and all this stuff, but she thought, no, it's too small. I'm not going to waste my money on this. So she actually had it for me, but returned it. It's the one doll I always wanted.
Oh,
I should go on Marketplace or whatever and see. eBay.
Well, it's probably still
around. Remember the song, Newborn Thumbelina, you've never seen a doll like newborn Thumbelina.
Oh, you've got to go look for it now.
I think so.
There's something in your soul that's yearning for that.
I need this damn doll.
Don't get it near me. I'm going to scribble on it. So. I don't think I ever scribbled on any of your dolls. I don't remember you going,
No. All I know is I can remember when I think I turned 14, I thought my Barbie dolls have to go. And I gave them to a neighbor's kid. Biggest mistake I ever could have made because they were like the old style Barbies, right?
Oh, they'd be worth something now.
Yeah. Biggest, well, it's not my biggest regret, but a regret.
Simon would be selling them for you on his Etsy shop, his nostalgia shop. Yeah.
Seriously.
Wendy, you want $60 for this one? Is that okay? I know.
Ask them to find me newborn Thumbelina. There we go.
Very different gift giving between the two girls of the Roach family. What do you want, Deb? I want a typewriter. I want a desk. I want a marionette. I want a guitar. What do you want, Wendy? Lots of dolls.
Not that there's anything wrong with either of those.
And a carriage. And
yeah. Oh my God.
No, it's just, it's what you want. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to Alan Frank.
Alan Frank.
And, we don't know. I think by the time we all, I think Deb mentioned we all got married in 1982. Myself, Deb, my mom, my best friend, but I don't think they lived in the neighborhood at that point.
Well, they moved out. They lived
Yeah.
in the house right next door. They moved away, and then they moved to the house 2 doors down.
Yeah, but
And we're
I'm
not sure.
when they
We're
moved away
foggy
from
on the
there.
dates.
Yeah, yeah. It was it was back in the 70s. So I think we can cut ourselves some slack. But
I think so.
anyways, we just wanted to kind of bring them into the fold tonight because they played a big part in helping my mom and being there for us too. So, and once again,
I have no idea where they've gone. I mean,
No.
we both worked at an interesting place that made printed circuit boards back in the late 70s, early 80s. And luckily, Wendy got out of there before she was too pregnant because it was a health hazard.
But
oh my God!
But had it been this day and age, I could have sued them.
You could have, yeah,
for letting me go at 3 months pregnant, right?
It was that's a whole other podcast. But he worked there. He worked there, and so I saw him all the time.
Right. That's
But
right.
I can't remember. And I've looked them up on social media. I've checked the phone book. I've done the spelling. It's like they vanished. Maybe they moved somewhere, like Europe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope they're okay. They were good guys.
Yeah, and I always thought they were a lot older than they were, but apparently they weren't. So maybe 10 years, Al was 10 years older than me, like early 20s or mid 20s. There's so many questions that we have no one to go to and ask anymore, which is...
I'll have to do a deep dive through all of my photographs that have dates on them because he was in a lot of the pictures. I think he took me to the prom, and I'm wearing this yellow Glinda from the Wizard of Oz. So he must have escorted me. I don't know. The whole memory's foggy, but yeah.
I think you're right, though.
Yeah, I have a picture of the two of us standing together, and he's all smiley. Yeah. But yeah, he was only like 23, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, but he seemed older. Yeah.
Just before we close off on them, it's when they lived right next door to us. There was a cat that was forever going in their garden, and Frank wanted to get this cat because it was destroying whatever he was trying to grow.
He was a gardener.
And one day he threw pepper in this cat's face. But he didn't realize that it was our cat, Tootie. And Tootie took revenge on Frank after that. She would sit on their stairs and waiting for him to come home. And then as he walked up those stairs, she batted him all the way up. And she did it for a while. Like, it wasn't just a day or two.
Oh, she was ticked. Yeah. It didn't hurt her. It didn't hurt her. But it was unpleasant. And she would do that. She would not talk to people. Our father, when she was a kitten, would, entice her to come and play with something. And he'd put up his hand and she'd run into his hand. She would never look at him. He'd pick her up and go, Tootie, Tootie. And she'd be looking away. I don't know you. I don't talk to the hand, But she did that. She was very, I don't know, sensitive cat.
Yeah, she was a good cat.
Tootie. Yeah, Tootie. We had a lot of good pets. Scruffy.
Oh, man.
We'll have to talk about Scruffy in one of our...
Have we not done that yet?
I don't think so. We'll have to go back and listen.
And this is only number 7.
Good my God. If we've talked about Scruffy, our wonderful dog, please write in the comments. I'm
going to have to now go back and re-listen.
Oh, God. I don't think we have. I don't think we did.
Maybe we haven't.
Yeah, because we talked about the funeral, but we didn't talk about the after stuff that happened, besides the people that came into our lives. But not the dog.
Maybe not.
Well, there we go. Fought it for more podcasts. I'm writing it down.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, it's 29 minutes.
No, we were trying to aim for 20. Sorry about that. But we have how many seconds? We have 30 seconds before we hit 30. So There we go.
Well, then we put on the front and the back, so
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be 32. That's all right. We're still talking. Sing us out. Bye. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to Just Beachy with Deb and Wendy and Deb. It's just Beachy with Mr. Honkers.
And Mr. Hunker.
Until next time. Take care. Talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to whatever this was.
Bye. Remember when.